The Dollhouse. Deep within the woods of Bulgaria, there lies a house falling into decay. What was once a glorious mansion is now rotting and decrepit. A large estate with many rooms has become a hazard with few stable walls. Despite its once amazing appearance and its long history, the Bulgarian people have made no attempts to preserve or even reconstruct it. No one ventures near it, as the whispers of its past still echo faintly throughout the land like a dying breath. Not much is known about this mansion, which has been called the Dollhouse. However, what little is known about it has not been confirmed, as those who enter this once marvelous home are never seen or heard from again. The legend is as follows. Long ago, back in its prime, the house was owned by a very wealthy man. The people believed that he brought luck to all, and he was very kind. Every room in his home was painted a different color, and there were many. Aside from the bedrooms, there were 2 kitchens and 3 sitting rooms. This man's name was Sven, and he was a rather unique man who adored children very much, especially orphans. He had been an orphan himself, and his dream was to have a large and happy family. Unfortunately, his wife could not bear children. This saddened him greatly, but he loved her dearly and his feelings would not change. After some thought, Sven decided he would go out into the world and find children for them, so they could all be happy together. He ventured into a poor part of town where many orphans roamed the streets, and returned with a little girl, who the couple named Irene. The 2 loved her dearly, and she loved them as well. As Sven had dreamed, they were all happy together. Unfortunately for the couple, Irene was a sick, frail child, and she did not last long. Stricken with grief, Sven could not bury his daughter. Though it was unheard of, he kept her corpse. A funeral was held for Irene, but Sven took the body before it was laid to rest and sealed the casket. He kept his beloved daughter in secret. However, to Sven's great dismay, her body began to rot. He could not bear to see his daughter this way, so he began to do something that could only be described as monstrous. He began replacing her body with artificial parts. However, he did this only to the outside, as he could not stand to desecrate his daughter's heart. He fashioned eyes of glass and skin of smooth porcelain, barely making a dent in his fortune. He dressed her up finely and changed her dresses every day, all the while keeping her a secret from his wife. Despite his efforts, he could not keep it a secret for long. When his wife found out, she demanded Irene be given a proper burial. Unable to handle the thought of being separated from his only child, Sven flew into a rage, grabbed a kitchen knife, and plunged it into his wife's chest. When he realized what he had done, he became overcome with grief once more. He understood that what he had done was horrible, but he loved his wife too much to part with her. He placed her next to their beloved daughter and began doing what he had done to Irene's body. As time went on, Sven began to grow lonely. Some nights he heard voices which he swore were Irene's and his wife's. They were lonely as well. So the next morning he went out into the streets once more and brought back a little boy, which he named Alexander. Sven loved Alexander, but he was a naughty boy and refused to obey his father. He caused his father such grief.
"Why are you dealing with this?" came a voice. "There is an easy way to make a child obey you."
In accordance with the voice, Sven made Alexander sit still permanently. He dressed him well and sat him next to Irene. Slowly, he was becoming more accustomed to the things he was doing, to the monster he had become. Child after child after child, so many, at least 15, all met the same fate as Irene. Growing ever lonelier, Sven moved his bed down into the basement in order to be closer to his dear children and wife. Perhaps, he thought, he would remarry. He longed for someone who would understand him, someone who would love him as well as his children. This could not be. As he slept, he felt something pull the covers away from his body. Thinking it was only his cat, he absent-mindedly pulled the covers back over himself. When he did this, however, something landed on top of him. It was cold and hard, and it made a sickening combination of snapping and sloshing sounds as if there were bones and organs within it. Sven opened his eyes to the face of his wife. He turned his head, hoping it was just a dream, to the face of his daughter, and then the other way to the face of Alexander. All of them converged on him, stabbing him an innumerable amount of times. This last speculation was made due to what was found when a search party investigated the manor. Sven himself was never seen again. However, outside his home, on the railing of the porch, was his skin.